Jesus more.
So my dear friends, we have come to the last week of Eastertide. So we are going to finish this week now, and this week is very important because it is awaiting the Holy Spirit. We are like the apostles in the upper room together with our Blessed Mother, waiting for the coming of the Holy Spirit. So this is very important, especially for the life of the church. These 10 days after Ascension is the 9 days, and then the 10th day is the Pentecost. When Jesus, following the command of Jesus in Acts of the Apostles, chapter 1, verse 4, that we heard yesterday, but also already said in Luke's Gospel, chapter 24, verse 49, where Jesus told the apostles, "Do not depart from Jerusalem until you have been clothed with the Holy Spirit." So he commissions them, he gives them the authority, but he says, no, don't start anything yet. You have to wait until the Holy Spirit comes. So this time is a time of waiting, and we join with the rest of the apostles in doing this. And in a good way, we are doing the 9-day novena to the Holy Spirit, asking for the different fruits of the Holy Spirit: love, peace, joy, patience, kindness, generosity, gentleness, faithfulness, and self-control, 9 of them. And we are asking the Holy Spirit to give us all these things so that we may be empowered to continue to serve Him, to serve God in every way. So like I said, it's a very intense period, and I always imagine which kind of prayer were the apostles praying when they were in the upper room waiting for the coming of the Holy Spirit. Was it the rosary? No, it could not be the rosary because our Mother Mary was still there. Was it Mass? No, it was not Mass. What was it? And I think one of the fact, of course, we know that Jesus taught the apostles and his disciples how to pray when they asked him, "Lord, teach us how to pray." So what is the prayer he taught them? The Our Father. So I'm sure they said many times the Our Father, because that is a prayer that they knew initially. But then we know after the coming of the Holy Spirit, it is no longer a prayer that they don't have to memorize any prayer, but the Spirit is going to pray through them. Like St. Paul's letter says to the Romans, St. Paul's letter to the Romans, chapter 8, verse 26 says that we do not even know how to pray as we ought to, but the Holy Spirit prays through us in words beyond our imagination. So this is a very intense week for the foundation of the church, because the church is founded on the fact that the apostles are to sit and discern for these 9 days before the coming of the Holy Spirit, opening up their hearts, emptying themselves so that the Spirit can feel that emptiness in them. And with that, after the coming of the Holy Spirit, when they were ready to receive Him and when the Holy Spirit truly came, then they were able to go out to the ends of the earth. Now, it's a very coincidental thing that we are in the month of May, which is very important for the praying of the Holy Rosary. So we are united with Mary, especially during these 9 days, in praying and preparing for the coming of the Holy Spirit. The Holy Spirit, as we know, is the principle of everything, is the principle of life. It is the principle that is going to help the apostles to be able to go out with courage and be ready even to give up their lives for their faith. Up till this moment, we know they are still afraid of the Jews. They are still afraid to die. They are still afraid to be persecuted. But once the Holy Spirit comes, everything changes. Everything changes. In the first reading, we hear Paul goes to Ephesus and he tells them, he asked them, when you were baptized, did you receive the Holy Spirit? And they said, we've never heard anything like this before. What do you mean by the Holy Spirit? They've never heard about it. And it's important to know that it's funny to read it when you hear them say, we've never heard anything like that. But it's true that we have heard about the Holy Spirit, but how many people still honor the Holy Spirit today? How many people invoke the Holy Spirit to lead them and guide them in all the decisions that they make? Because the Spirit is the principle of faith. It is a principle of discernment. We find in St. Paul's first letter to the Corinthians, chapter 10 from verse 8. Chapter 12 from verse 8 to 10. It tells us about this charisms of the Holy Spirit. One of them is even faith. Faith, understand, wisdom, knowledge, faith, even the healing ministry, even the miracles and wonders is all done through the Holy Spirit. Even prophecy and discernment of spirit, that even before we make decisions, it is the Holy Spirit that helps us to do that. So it is true, we know the Holy Spirit, we have heard about the Holy Spirit, but most of the time we do not really invoke the Holy Spirit in our lives as Christians. And we know that it is the principle of everything that we do. In the gospel today, we hear Jesus telling them, especially we've celebrated the ascension already, and the readings we are talking about, the authority, all authority in heaven and on earth has been given to me. And then he commissions the apostles with this same authority that he has been given. And now we hear in the gospel today, he has overcome the world. And he says to them, remember, you are going to have persecution. You are going to have trouble in the world, but do not be afraid. Take courage, for I have overcome the world. There is nothing that is beyond me again. All authority in heaven, on earth, and beneath the earth has been given to Jesus. And therefore, all we have to do is to continue to surrender to him. When we have difficulties and troubles, like he says in the gospel, take courage, because I have overcome all that. Jesus has already overcome all that. He is fighting our battles already, the battles that we cannot fight ourselves. And so all we have to do is to continue to surrender to him. So the problem at times is that we want to do it ourselves. We want to be in charge. And that's why Jesus warns the apostles and told them, do not leave Jerusalem until you have been clothed by the Holy Spirit, so that you don't do things by yourself, so that you don't go out there and feel that you have it already. No, wait for the coming of the Holy Spirit, because once the Holy Spirit comes, it's a whole package. It gives you everything that you need for the mission. I have commissioned you, but you need the Holy Spirit to be able to put everything to fulfillment, to fulfill everything that I have told you. And you remember already previously in John chapter 14, he's telling them, I have told you a lot, but this is too much for you. But once the Holy Spirit comes, he's going to teach you and remind you of everything that I have taught you. So that is why I say the Holy Spirit is the principle of everything. The church is founded on these 10 days during which the apostles waited in prayer, opening themselves up and waiting for the coming of the Holy Spirit. And we know at Pentecost, the church was born. With the coming of the Holy Spirit and the apostles opening the doors and going out to the ends of the earth, fulfilling the words that Jesus gave yesterday on the Feast of the Ascension from Matthew's Gospel chapter 28 verse 19, going to the ends of the earth, baptizing, healing, bringing liberation to the lives of people. Therefore, my dear friends, as we continue to join with the apostles, with our Blessed Mother, especially in this month of the Holy Rosary, let us continue to ask the Holy Spirit to lead us, to guide us, and most especially to help us, to grant us the courage that we need, especially when we face difficulties in this world.
Kiss us, Mother, kiss your children. Bring God's blessings from above. With your mantle blue enfold us in your gentle holy love. See the darkness dissipating, hear the trumpet echoing, Satan's rage